In this video, we're going to talk about slices. Now, in a previous video, we learned that an array has a fixed size. It can never get smaller or larger. I like to think of a slice as looking through a window at an array. Maybe you see the entire array. Maybe you can only see a piece or a portion of the array. Maybe you can only see the beginning or the middle or the end of the array. The important thing to know is that a slice can fluctuate in size, but ultimately, it's just a flexible view into the elements of an underlying array. Let's take a look. I'm going to open up my IDE. For this, I'm going to be using GoLang. Now, I've already created my project. I just called it Slices and Go. I have my main.go file, and then inside of my main.go file, I have my package main, my import FMT that we're using down here, and my func main. So this is going to be an executable file, and we're just going to be printing some data out here in our terminal. So I'm going to minimize this. As of right now, I just have this one variable called names, and I've created an array. It holds 5 items, all of data type string, and I've provided some names. I have Dan, Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. Now let's just run this just to make sure it's all working. Cool. So I have this names variable. It holds an array, and we've just printed out our array. Like I said previously, a slice is like a window into an underlying array. Let's create a new variable. For this, I'm going to call it var a. Similarly to an array, we're going to use the square brackets. But when we create an array, we actually define a number. So we would say 5, like we did up here to say there's going to be 5 items. When we're creating a slice, we can actually leave that number out. And then after our square brackets, we want to say what data type is this slice going to contain. So for this, it's going to be of type string, because we're going to be taking a slice of this names array that contains all data types of string. So let's go ahead and set this equal to, and then we'll supply our variable of names, and then we're going to use the square brackets again. So we've just created this variable a. We give it the square brackets without a number inside, so it's going to be a slice. And we say this slice is going to contain data types of string. Now we set that equal to, when we're going to provide an underlying array. So right now we're saying, get me the names array, and then we're providing our square brackets, and then we have to let it know which piece of the names array do we want. Do we want the whole array? Do we want just maybe Ryan and Norma? Let's go ahead and we'll just do Ryan and Norma. So position 0 in an array is the first item. So Dan is technically position 0. But if we wanted to get Ryan and Norma, we want to start at position 1, so we can use the number 1 and then a colon, and then what position do we want to stop at? And we want to stop right after Norma, so we're going to stop right before we get to position 3. So let's provide a 3. So look at the names array, and I want you to slice me off starting at position 1, stopping before position 3, and I'm just going to put a note right here that we're expecting Ryan and Norma. Now let's go ahead and print this out. So we'll do FMT, print ln, and we want to print our variable of a. So now we're expecting to print all of our names and then print just Ryan and Norma. Let's give this a try. Cool. So we printed all of our names, and then we grabbed a slice of our underlying array, and we said, just print Ryan and Norma. So a slice doesn't store any actual data. It's just a window to an underlying array. So our slice right here, variable a, doesn't actually store data. It's just providing a window to our names array and saying, just show me it from position 1 up to position 3. So by changing the elements of the slice, we'd actually be modifying the elements of the underlying array. Let's give this a try. So if we say, we want to change a, we're going to use the brackets, and we have to say at what position. So right now, our variable a contains 2 items, Ryan and Norma. Ryan is position 0 in this, Norma is position 1. So if I wanted to change Norma to say something different, I would say, give me variable a, and then position 1. And then let's set that equal to something. For this, we'll just use Pete. So we're going to change Norma to Pete. So let's print this out again. I'm going to use FMT, print ln. Let's print all of our slices again. And then let's also print all of our names again. So this time we're expecting to see all the names as they're defined right here. Then we're saying, grab me a slice, we're going to call it A, and only grab position 1 through 3, so Ryan and Norma. And then we're saying print that out. So this time we're expecting to see Ryan and Norma. Then we're saying, grab that slice at position 1, which is Norma, and change it to Pete. Then print out all the slices again, then print out all the names again. So we're anticipating Pete to change for our slice and our names array, because remember, a slice is just a window into an underlying array. So by changing the slice, we should be changing the array as well. So this names variable should have replaced Norma with Pete. Let's give that a try. All right, so print ln names. We have Dan, Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. And then we're saying create a slice, grab position 1 through 3. We have Ryan and Norma. Then we change position 1 of that slice to Pete, and we print our slice again. So now instead of Ryan and Norma, we have Ryan and Pete. And then we said print our names again. Now we have Dan, Ryan, Pete, instead of Norma, Sasha, and Mike. So by modifying that slice right here, we've modified our underlying array. That's pretty cool, and that's really important to know. When you're modifying a slice, you're also modifying the array that it references. So I want to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to clear this, and let's go and let's just get rid of this for right now. And I'm going to remove my note right here. When working with slices, there's some shorthand syntax we can use to specify the slice of elements we would like from our underlying array. So start at the beginning of position 1 and end right before position 3. So what if we wanted to just do start at the beginning, so start at 0 and give me up until 3. Let's go ahead and print that out. fmt, print ln, and then variable a. So we've created a slice. It's looking at our underlying array of names. It's saying start at position 0 and go up to position 3. So we're expecting to see Dan, Ryan, and Norma. Let's print this out. Cool. So we printed out all of our names, and then we've just printed out our slice. Now there's some shorthand syntax we can use to specify the slice of elements we would like to use from the underlying array. Right here, we're using 0, but if we're starting at position 0, we don't actually have to provide the 0. If we just leave it off, the Go compiler assumes start at the beginning or position 0. So if we print this out again, we got the same exact results. So we can actually leave off the 0, or we can put it in, whichever you prefer. But this is some shorthand syntax. If you know you want to start at the beginning, you can leave the 0 off and just provide the colon and then the 3. Now this works the same way in the opposite direction. So if we wanted to, we could say start at position 1 and then not provide a stop position. And what will happen is it'll just assume go until the end. So this time, instead of doing Dan, Ryan, and Norma, it should do Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. Let's try it out. Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. So we can use the shorthand syntax. We can not provide a beginning value, or we can not provide an end value. So if we wanted to get the entire array, we could say start at position 0 and then end at position 5. Because Dan would be position 0, Ryan would be 1, Norma would be 2, Sasha would be 3, Mike would be 4. So we want to end after the 4th position, which would be 5. So let's provide a 5, and then let's print this out. So we'll do go run main.go, and now we have Dan, Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. Now if we omit the 0 and we omit the 5, we're expecting to see the same result, and this would be our shorthand syntax. Cool, so we got the same exact thing. Dan, Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my terminal again. Let's clear this out, and let's get rid of this, and let's talk about slice literals. If we wanted to clean up our code a bit, we could create what's called a slice literal. The way we create a slice literal is the exact same way we create an array. But instead of providing a size, we leave our square brackets empty. So we could just omit this 5 right here, and this would be a slice literal. By providing a 5, we're saying this is an array. By removing the 5, we're saying this is a slice literal. Now what's happening here is it's going to create the same exact array as we had before, but after the underlying array is created, it's creating a slice that references it. So instead of having to define both the array and then a slice separately, we've combined these two together. So let's go ahead and print out this names again and see what we get. Dan, Ryan, Norma, Sasha, and Mike. So exactly the same as before, except this time, instead of having to specify the 5 and then come down here and do our var a, saying it's a slice, typing string, and then setting it equal to names and doing our square brackets and providing the colon, all of this code is exactly the same as getting rid of this and removing the 5. So this is what we would call a slice literal. When we omit the 5, we use our square brackets and we say this is going to be a slice of strings. It automatically creates our underlying array for us instead of having to define both. So Go has some built-in functions for finding the length and the capacity of a slice. Let's give them both a try. So right now we have this names slice, which produces an underlying array. Let's switch back and make this an array. So I'm going to set this back to 5. And let's create a slice of this names array and then check our length and our capacity. So I'm going to call this variable s for slice, and then we'll use our square brackets, and it's going to hold data type string, and we're going to set it equal to our names array, and let's just do position. We'll leave the first one blank because we want it to start at position 0, and then I'll do my colon, and then let's end at position 3. So now we have this variable s. It contains a slice of names 0 through 3. Let's see what the length is with a built-in Go function. So we should be able to do this fmt println and say len for length, and then provide it our variable of s. So let's see what this produces. We'll do our go run main.go. So our length of this slice is 3. Because we started our array at 0, Dan is 0, Ryan is 1, Norma is 2, and we're stopping right here before we get to Sasha. So we have 3 items, Dan, Ryan, and Norma. Let's just go ahead and print that out so we can see. fmt println, and we just want to print out this var s. So we have Dan, Ryan, Norma, and we've just checked the length of our slice, and it contains 3 items. Now we can also print out the capacity of our slice. Let's do that. Let's do fmt println, and now we can say cap, provide our parentheses, and say s, because we want to print the capacity of our slice. Let's run this again and see what our capacity is. And now we can see that we have Dan, Ryan, Norma in our slice, and then we have our length, which is 3, and our capacity, which is 5. And the reason our capacity is 5 is because our variable s is a slice which points to our names array. The reason our capacity is 5 and our length is 3 is because our length lets us know how many items are in our slice. Our capacity lets us know how many items are in our underlying array. So now that we know about this length and capacity built-in function, there's also another function in Go to make a slice. So let's talk about the make function. Slicing can also be created with the built-in make function. The make function takes in a few parameters or arguments. So let's create a new variable. We'll just call it a. We'll use our short assignment operator, and then we'll specify that we want to use the make function. The make function takes in a few parameters or arguments. The first thing is what you want to make. The make function can do more than just create slices, but for the sake of this video, we're going to use it with arrays and slices. So the first argument will be what we want to make. For this, we want to create a slice, so we'll provide our square brackets and then the word string, because we want our slice to be an array of strings. And then we'll put a comma. The second parameter is the length we want to use. For this, I'm just going to provide it 5, so that our length is 5. And then our third parameter would be the capacity. For this, I'm just going to use 5 again. Now let's confirm that our make function's working, and we'll do fmt println, and then let's just print out the length of our variable a, and let's also print out the capacity. We'll come down here to our terminal and let's run this go run main.go, and we can see that our length and our capacity are both 5. So by creating this variable a using the short assignment operator and the go built-in make function, we're able to say, go make this array and create us a slice. It's going to be a length of 5 and it's going to have a capacity of 5. So we've just essentially created a slice with an underlying empty array. There's nothing in it. Just to confirm, let's go ahead and just print out our a. We'll run this again. And as we can see down here, we have this variable a and it's empty, but we have a length of 5 and a capacity of 5. We should be able to come up here and just say, for our variable a at position 2, we would like to set it to a string of Dan. Let's run this again, and we should see Dan. Cool. So we have some empty positions before Dan and some empty positions after Dan. Let's set our variable a at position 3 to Mike. We'll print it out again. So now we have some empty positions before Dan, we have our Dan, we have Mike, and then some empty positions after. So we're using this make function to create a slice with an underlying array. It holds type string, it has a length of 5 and a capacity of 5. So this is another option or another way that we can use to create a slice and the underlying array. I want to clear this out again and talk about one more built-in function. So let's clear this. And the last built-in function I want to talk about is the append function. Similar to the built-in length, capacity, and make functions, Go has a built-in append function. With the append function, we can actually grow our slices. So let's take a look. We'll do our var names. We want it to be a slice of strings. Let's go ahead and print out our names. So fmt println, and we'll do names. And let's print out our length. We'll do fmt println len and our variable of names. And let's also print out our capacity. So cap and pass it our names. And let's just see what this does. Let's see what our length and capacity are. We haven't specified anything. Let's see what the default is. So go run main.go. All right, so we have our empty array and our slice is pointing to it. So we printed out our slice of names. We have a 0 length and a 0 capacity. So let's append some information to this slice and underlying array. We're going to specify our variable of names, and we'll set it equal to append. The first argument in our Go built-in append function is the original array or slice that we want to append to. So for this, it's going to be names. And then I want to provide some additional elements or data of what we'd like to append. So I'm going to provide a few strings since our slice takes strings. We'll do Andrew, we'll provide a comma, then we'll do Ryan, a comma, and we'll just do Dan. We'll capitalize him. So we're saying take this names variable, we want to use the append function, use the original names if any names were provided in that original array or slice. Currently there's nothing provided, and then append Andrew, Ryan, and Dan. So originally we had 0. Now we want to append to our original values Andrew, Ryan, and Dan. And let's print this out. We'll do fmt println, and we'll do names again. And then let's also print out the length and capacity of our names to see if that capacity grew or shrunk. fmt println, we'll do length first of names, and then fmt println, and we'll do the capacity of names. Let's rerun this and see if it changed. Cool. So our original run, we provided this variable of names. It's a slice of strings. Since we provided no details, it created an empty array with 0 length and 0 capacity. And we see that right here, 0 length, 0 capacity. Then we took that variable of names and we said append to our names variable Andrew, Ryan, and Dan. So it took that and it grew. And then we say println names. Now we have Andrew, Ryan, and Dan, and our new length and new capacity are both 3. I think this is a good stopping point for the video. I wanted to go through a few of the different options when working with slices and a few different ways to create slices, dynamically size slices, and then using some of these built-in functions, the make function, the length and capacity functions, and then the append function. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.